Welcome back to Game Room Crafts. I'm Kelly. This is my game room. Let's play. So we are going into Valentine's Day this week. So I am going to be making some Valentine's-y gifts. First off, I am making a little Valentine's gnome. Why? Because gnome, that's why. Then I'm going to be making a candle holder. And it says, I love you on the bottom. And it has the moon and the stars. And you put the candle right here. So I'm going to be making this out of Perfect Cast today. Because you wouldn't want to put a live flame candle in resin. Because no, that is a definite no-no. So I'm going to be doing it in Eco Powder. In this case today, we're going to be using Perfect Cast. And since I'm doing that for this, I'm also going to be doing it for our gnome. If I have leftover, which is a distinct possibility, I may be doing these houses, which are just adorable. And they're solid. You don't put candles in them, but you would stand them up and maybe put a candle behind them and you'd be able to see the light shining through behind the cutouts. Now, maybe. I'm not sure. I might make it. I might not. I also have this for any leftovers. We'll see. I'm not sure where we're at. Now, I know that I need like 1.5 ounces. I filled it up with water. So I need like 1.5 ounces for our gnome. I don't believe I have a measurement for our candle heart. Let's see. No, I don't. I do not. I should write it down though. I'm thinking it's not very thick, but it is wide. So I think what I'll do is I'll make up 2 ounces for that and see what happens. I might need more. I might not need it at all. We'll see. I'll have to write these things down or I forget. Age has kicked in. What I'm going to be doing to dye my heart is I'm going to be using the HydraCast pigment. I'm going to use the red and the blue because I'm a purple girl. I like the color. But for my gnome, I'm going to make her straight up white because I want that cream. Actually, it's not white. So when you're using Perfect Cast, it's not white like mix to mold. There is kind of a cream color to it. I'll show you. I made one here. This is the first time I ever used Perfect Cast. And I was like, it's kind of creamy. And that's okay. I don't mind that at all. In fact, for me, that skin tone on her will look perfect. So I'm going to just cast her straight up plain and then dye from there. We're going to do her first because she only takes, like I said, 1.5 ounces. So it's not very much at all. Use this cup for her. Stick this back there for now. So this is what I'm talking about. Normally I use mix to mold. That's my go-to when it comes to casting powder. Recently I've tried this. It's Perfect Cast. I saw somebody else using it and I thought, let's give it a shot. I picked this up at Hobby Lobby, and as you can see, it was under $10. It was $7.49. It dries just as quick, and it's the same. It's the 3-to-1. The only difference for me so far has been that the mix to mold is white. The Perfect Cast is like cream color, cream white. So it does not come with a scoop. You're supposed to do it by weight. I don't do that. Why? Because I'm stubborn like that. But no, it's because me and math don't work. The math doesn't math. So what I do instead is I mix it to like pancake batter consistency. I like that, consistency. So I know for her, I need 1.5 ounces total. Now, like I said before, when you're using an eco powder or ceramic resin, that doesn't work. It doesn't work that way. You need more than what it actually calls for because it's going to shrink down when you add water. First of all, there's a lot of air in there. And then number two, when you add the water, it shrinks down. So, I doubled it. If I have extra, that's okay because like I said, I have extra molds here. I also am mixing for my heart. So later. So if I have extra, I have extra. Now, if I'm going to have extra, it's better to have it in the non-dyed one because then I can dye it as I go, whatever color I want. So we're going to give it a shot. We need some water. And as you know, I do not pour from the big water cup because I will spill it. Number one. Number two, I will make too much. I'll put too much water in and then I'll be doing that vicious cycle searching for the right consistency. So here I have, according to this, 3 ounces. It's not 3 ounces. Why did I do that? So that I don't get a big poof of powder. I'm currently not wearing a respirator, and I should be because it's powder. It's a very fine powder. Actually, this is more, if you look at it, it's more granular than the mix-to-mold. The mix-to-mold is almost like working with cornstarch versus this would be like working with flour, which it's still fine, and you can still breathe it in. So yeah, you know, PPEs. I'm just going through with my fork and kind of any large lumps, mixing it up. Okay, so I'm gonna pour some water in, see what we get. The only thing I actually use my scale for is silicone. Yeah, when I do silicone, I use my scale. Okay, so in we go. About halfway. Yep, I made a mess. That's okay. So I did about halfway. Squeezing the hat, because there is on this one, on her hat, she has a heart and a flower. Now, I questioned like that because this came as a set. It was this along with a St. Patty's Day gnome. He has a clover on his hat. Wow, did I actually make it perfect? Just about. Just about. Okay. Watch it jiggle. See it. Look at that bubble. Wiggle. Anybody remember that from the Jello commercials back in the day? Okay. She's full. I'm going to slide her back. I have some leftover. Tell you what, I will do the little house. Hi, Pips. I had the door to my game room semi-closed because I don't want to interrupt other people in the house making noises. Plus, I didn't want a lot of noise contamination on my video. Well, big boy over here, he uses his head like a battering ram and pushes the door open. I don't close it all the way because I don't want him to get hurt. I've seen him do it before. He'll run at the door head first because he's that kind of stubborn. Okay, so this house is not completely full. So I know that I have to make up more powder for my big heart. I'm not sure how much. I'm thinking like maybe 2 ounces. So I'm going to try that. Well, I think I need a total of 2 ounces. So I'm going to try that. But what I'm going to do first, that I'm putting, I intend to dye. But before I do that, I'm going to take out some and fill up that house. So if I want 2 ounces of powder, as you saw, it took 3 ounces. Well, almost 3 ounces. So like maybe it took 2.5 ounces to fill up the gnome. I actually had 3 ounces total in there, and that's what I got. I'm going to do the same thing here and see what I get. Let's see. That's like just under 4, only because I intend to take some out for my house. So again, inside. Where's my fork? There's my fork. See how now it looks like a dough? Okay, well, that means add more water. I go a little at a time because it goes from dough to liquid really fast. Look at that. Didn't take very much to loosen that up, did it? I'm making sure to turn it and scrape my sides as well as my bottom, looking for any lumps, which I don't currently see any lumps, so that's good. I'm going to move my water so it's out of my way and I don't knock it over. And before I add my colorant, actually, you know what? This can be a little bit looser. Yes, it can. Remember, you mix it to the consistency you like. So for me, pancake batter, that was a little thick, so I just tipped a little bit of water in there. So what's going to happen is if you put too much water, it'll take longer to cure. If you put way too much water, it will infect the integrity of the piece. It'll be brittle. And that's for, my understanding is that's for any equal resin. Fill up the little heart house. That's like the perfect size for my little gnome lady. You know what? I think it's a dude. Because when I said she, the kid looked at me and said, it's a gnome. And I said, yeah. It's a girl? I don't know. I assumed it was a girl because it had a heart on the hat. But She said most gnomes are dudes, so I don't know. All right, house done. Now, I don't really want this stuff on the top because it means I'm going to have to clean it up later. And if you've noticed, I'm not using gloves because the eco resins are not like epoxy resin and UV resin. It's not going to hurt you. Now, I wouldn't suggest breathing it in, like I said, respirator, but okay, I put, oh, that was 6. Okay. Nope, that was 7 drops of the red. Now I have some blue because I want this to be purple. Taking the ring out because I've had it drop on me before. So I'm going to put also 7 drops of the blue. Let's see if we get the color that I want. It would be nice, wouldn't it? Well, it's definitely turning purple. Kind of a dark purple, but you know, when it dries, it's going to look different. So we'll see. We shall see. I might have gone a little far, but like I didn't intend to put 7 drops of the red, but it happened. So I had to put an equal amount of the blue. Okay, scrape that down. Here we go. I hope I have enough. In this case, you want to cover that little center nubbin because that is where your candle goes. Hey, that was a pretty good guesstimation there. I think we're good. Yep. Because it covers where the candle goes, that's all I really need. Am I going to have to trim a little bit? Probably. But if I do it when it's still moist, yes, I use the word moist. The kid will have fits. That is a word she does not like. Anyway, if you use the deburring tool on it while it's still moist, it will be so much easier than if you wait for it to dry, and then you have to grind it down with your Dremel. It's just easier to deburr it when it's still, you know, like right after you demold it, deburr that. Get it out of there. Okay, so these are going to sit now. Like the mix to mold, it does not take very long to cure it all. Oh my, I put that bag down and didn't even realize it wasn't closed. This is a zip bag. It self-zips. I mean, like a Ziploc bag. And I guess I didn't snap it well. Got to go along very carefully because if you put it down and it's not closed, knock it over, get powder everywhere. So this says instructions. After mixing, tap the mold. Do not overfill. Gently tap the mold to release any bubbles. It says perfect cast is set 45 minutes. So let it sit in your mold for 45 minutes before demolding. And then after 24 hours, it's completely dry. It doesn't take me that long because I put mine in my curing box. Once it starts to set up, I put it in the curing box. So I don't have a shaker table because I don't use eco powders often enough to warrant it. So you just, you know, give it a tap, give it a shake. You could go in with a tool and go around the edges and hopefully any bubbles in there will pop up. In fact, let's try that. Just around the edge and around that circle. So that should be good. I'm not super concerned about the house because that was an extra anyway. We're going to give that 45 minutes and then we will come back and we will demold it. So we will see you soon. We're back and these are cured. And wow, that is a lot darker than I thought it was going to be. It's more blue than purple, which is weird, right? Because that's the color it was. But yeah, look at that. Well, since we already looked at it, let's go ahead and pop it out of the mold. Give that mold a wipe down so that it is not holding powder for the next time around. And again, that HydroCast colorant stayed behind on my mold. I don't know. I think I might just have to bite the bullet and invest in some of the Jadection color for resin creep because I hear that's wonderful and I don't think that would happen. This is what it looks like on the other side and I'm gonna tell you that I'm not real happy with that. And it's wavy. What happened here? That's weird. Yeah, I'm not real happy with that. I don't know that I'd do anything with that. I don't know if that's savable. In the meantime, we'll move on. I'm gonna wipe down the mold for our Gnome. And I was right. She is a girl because she has braids. Can I get the top out without breaking it? I did. Yay! I like her. She's a cutie. And she is a her. She has braids and there are little bows on the bottom. There's a heart. There's the hands on the side. So the heart is just on the tummy. Okay, so the whole purpose of my using the Perfect Cast rather than the mixed mold was because I wanted this creamy color so that her skin would stay that color. So I'm not going to be coloring the hands, the nose, I may color the clothes. And we'll have to decide on what color. Now, because it wasn't poured completely full, there's a little bit overage, so I'm gonna use the deburring tool to get it even. Which, when it's still like this, there's still moisture in there, and you can feel it. You can feel it in the powder. Oh, I made a boo-boo. Cut that a little bit. That's all right. Easily fixed. There we go. Yeah, easily fixed. Now, what I have to do is decide what colors I want to use on her. Before we do that, we're going to get out our house. I made a boo-boo and I used the baby wipe that had the blue on it, and look, it transferred the blue onto my house. No, that's not what I wanted. At least that's the back of the house, so I'm not super concerned. Let's see if we can pop him out. Come on. Oh, that's cute. You can still feel the moisture in it, very much so. And if you remember, this was done in 2 pours, so you can absolutely see the line where one, So this, same thing with mixed mold. When you pour it, you can absolutely see the line when you have a second pour over, which is weird, right? Because it's the same product. And I haven't dyed it. I'm using my file and going straight over the back. I wouldn't say it's shrinkage, but I didn't pour it all the way full. If I really wanted to, I could keep going and get that blue down that I put there, or I could paint it, which I might actually do since you can see the different tones between the 2 pours. I might be painting that house. I don't know. We shall see. Like I said, I don't know that I'll be doing anything with this, only because there is it's like a wave, which I don't know. If I was putting, it is flat, so I could put a candle on it, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know that I love that. As of right now, I'm thinking this. I'm gonna call this one a fail. I'm not happy with it. I'll leave it right there. But my gnome, I love. Lover. Okay, so hi. What shall we do with our beautiful little gnome here? Well, obviously, we have to color her hearts, her flower, and her hair bows. So like I said, I'm not going to be coloring her nose and her hands. We need to decide what color we want to do her body and stuff. Well, obviously her hearts are going to be pink. I think pink. I think we'll go with the pink and purple theme for my little girl here. You know what? I really should get the kid to come in and do this, but don't know if she's in the mood to play today. Kid? You want color?
I want a what?
Do you want a color?
Color? Oh.
So this is a fail. There's a wobble in this mold. Look at that.
There's always been a wobble in that mold.
Well, I don't like it. And the color came out way darker than what I thought it was going to be. And of course, that's user error. I put too many drops of color. But I'm thinking metallics for this. She's got a lot of hearts on her. So I'm pulling out my pinks and my purples. I like the metallics. What do you think?
Yeah. Not that one.
Okay, so stick with these.
Yeah.
What about this one?
No.
So just these 4?
That's 5, but okay.
I don't know how to count. Math doesn't math with me, kid. You can use this to test your colors here. But she's got hearts all over her hat. I'm not coloring her hands or her nose. Everything else gets colors, and it is a her. See, she has braids and bows. Okay. But I think she should have, I think her shoes should be black. What do you think?
Okay.
Okay, kid takeover. Take 567.
What? We didn't even stop. What are you talking about?
I think I should check this mold.
I mean, if you don't like it.
There has to be a way for it not to wobble like that. What did I do with it the last time? Maybe if I put it on top of a piece of acrylic before I...
So how exactly do you want me to do this?
Well, we need to color her hat. We need to color the hearts. And the flower needs to be a different color.
Is the hat itself staying white, or are we making it?
I don't know. What do you think? Should the hat be the same color as her bows? She has bows on her hair. Which I figured her hair was going to be like yellow or gold. We have a yellow here, but it's not metallic. Which her hair shouldn't be metallic, right?
Right, so I'll do that first because I don't know. Like you're, like, I.
Yep.
I don't know what I'm doing. Well, thanks.
I think you're. Yeah, I gotcha. But it's close enough to you that you're comfortable, right?
I guess.
I don't know. Should I bring it down?
One eternity later.
But yeah, that's her. Isn't she cute? And this is her little house, her gnome house. So the idea of that house is that you could take a light and put it behind, and it would shine right through. Now I do have 2 other houses, so I could do the same thing, be like a village and the light would be shining through from behind. But that's cool, right? So that is our Valentine's make for 2026. Oh my goodness, the year has flipped. I have such a hard time changing dates after the new year. So thank you for joining us here in the game room. I had fun and I tried something new. There were successes and there was a failure, but all in all, we got to play, and that was the main thing. So join us again here next week. I'm not sure what we're doing, but whatever it is, we will endeavor to make it fun. In the meantime, don't forget to play. Bye!